Hello, in today's episode, I review your podcast and we go into some do's and don'ts of how to grow and acquire more listeners. Let's dive right in. All right, so I've jumped into the laptop and we're going to go through the podcast that you guys have sent me. Remember, you can send me your podcast at @podcastrocket on Instagram and I can go and review them. So the very first person that sent it to me was this podcast, The Bod Lover by Masvita Shadaya. Sorry if I butchered your name. And yeah, it looks good. The only thing I would say, just from looking at this, The Bod Lover, Learning to Love Your Body Right, there is not much contrast between The Bod Lover here. So it kind of doesn't stand out as much. So maybe you want to have a look at that. But yeah. Other than that, so just your ordinary girl sharing her weight loss journey and the tips and tricks on how to have a positive body image and how to practice healthy and mindful eating whilst ditching the diet mentality. Great, so that tells us exactly what this is about, which is very important. Let's jump down. Okay, so she already has a couple episodes. The very first thing I would say is they look very short. Remember that podcasts should be normally around 25 minutes up to whatever you want, but you wanna think about people listen to podcasts at home or during their commute. That normally takes more than 6 minutes, and they don't want to be fumbling about with their phone. So you want to pump that up if you can. But yeah, that's not a big deal. So I'm gonna click on the last one, July 13th, and let's listen.
Welcome to the Bod Lover Podcast, a community where we learn to live a healthy, happy, and fulfilling life whilst crushing our goals.
Okay, so the very first thing that I can see is, or can hear is, I can't hear you very well. So definitely lower the music, pump your voice up so we can hear you.
Understanding and loving your body has never been easier.
Apart from that, the intro is pretty good. It introduces us to your podcast, introduces you to what the podcast is about. This is what we call a podcast intro, not an episode intro. I'm expecting an episode intro next. Let's see.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Bod Lover Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And to those tuned in for the first time, I am so excited to have you here. My name is Majita and welcome to this community of health, wellness, and happiness. Right, so we've covered a lot in the past 5 weeks. Understanding and loving your body, how to get started with weight loss, understanding energy and how your body functions, learning how to deal with food, and also how to eat healthier. And we keep moving. Today, I'm going to give you a quick biology lesson which will help you understand your body more.
Okay, so a couple things. One, I can't really hear you very well. You're very, very quiet. So the first thing I would do is try to pump that volume up. The other one is you want to tell us as soon as possible what the episode is about. I think we were 50 seconds in and you were still saying thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for new people. Those kind of things, which are great, but you should be introducing what the topic of the episode is about as soon as possible, because people or new listeners that go to your podcast are going to decide if they're going to continue listening or not. And the very first thing that they're going to hear is that last episode, the first 30 seconds. So you want to convince them in those 30 seconds. It's very good that you tell us what the podcast is about. Now you just need to tell us what the episode is about. And it would be even better if you switch those around. If you tell us what the episode is about first, today we're going to learn about something about biology from your body. And then you go into the podcast, music, and you say, oh, this is the podcast about, weight loss and how to do it realistically and all that kind of stuff. That's going to be super powerful for people that are coming in without knowing anything about you. Don't assume that they're going to read the title. They may not. They may just look at the cover, hit play. They don't even know what they're listening, right? You need to make sure that they stay a while. And then, then go into pleasantries, say thank you, all that kind of stuff, and then just go in and just say, so in the last episode we went in and did. But by that point, you've already hooked them in. I'm going to listen to it a bit more and we'll see if there's anything else. Okay, so I really like the outro. In the outro, you said, thank you very much. Please follow me. Please, this is where you can find me. This is where you can send me comments. This is all that kind of stuff. This is great. You should have asked for rates, reviews just to make sure that you're growing your podcast. But apart from that, really good. The only thing I would say is that it looks like you're suffering from low bitrate issues, which is that wobbly effect on your voice. That will come from internet connections with Anchor because your internet maybe is not great, or the connection between Anchor and yourself is too far away and there's some issues there. So I would try to see if you can record somewhere else that has better internet, or even just record on your laptop. You're not interviewing anyone. You can upload these files directly to Anchor afterwards, which would increase the quality massively. Because you don't need to send this voice across the internet for Anchor to record it. You can record it directly on your laptop with Audacity for Windows or QuickTime for Mac. Both of them are free. You can just download Audacity from a Google search, and QuickTime comes with Mac, so it's as easy as that. All right, moving on. The next one is the Tea Lady, and I'm going to click on the Tea Lady first, just to see. Okay, the Tea Lady. The Tea Lady podcast is a relaxed conversational podcast where a guest is invited onto the show for a chat into issues that are of interest to women and men, sharing life stories, trending topics, and having a general chat, I guess. While sipping a beverage or two, grab your cup or glass, listen, and join in the conversation on Instagram and Twitter. Cool. That's really good. I would add much more to this. You want to be able to rank, and you don't want to have the keywords at the beginning, but you do want to have keywords after the see more to make sure that when people are searching for you, they can actually find you. This is something that I'm going to have to cover later on. But yeah, this is okay. It describes exactly what the show is about. So let's go back. So entanglements and entangleships. This week we're talking about the famous entanglement. That's right, people. We're spilling the tea on Will and Jada's open but not so open relationship, Jada's entanglement with August, and if Will and Jada are still Hollywood's strongest surviving couple. As of recent interviews, we could not help but throw our opinion in the mix. You want to listen to this episode, and we're going to subscribe and turn on notifications from our episodes. So this is good, and this describes exactly what the episode is about. If you want to add your opinion to the mix, comment on social media at the hashtag this on Twitter, or follow us on Instagram. Perfect. That's really, really good. Send a voice message. This is really good. You're doing a great job here with the social media. So let's play this. 49 minutes, by the way. Really good. This is really strong.
If they can not say the word like cheating, then surely it's not considered cheating in whatever else was going on with their relationship.
They were on a break.
Exactly. She called a Ross on everyone.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Tea Lady podcast. It's your host Rimby and my favorite co-host Leo.
Hi. Yes, I'm back again.
Yay. You know I love you on the show. I'm sure everyone loves you on the show anyway. So
I love being here. Honestly, I get so excited.
Well, I'm sure everyone's going to be excited. We've got some news which we'll share at the end. So hopefully people will stay tuned and listen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we talked about this yesterday on our drunken night. It's not really a drunken night. We didn't really get that drunk, although you did want to get me drunk. So.
Well, do you know what? I tried. I've moved into a new place and it was like a mini housewarming. But I guess all we got was a glass and a half of wine. But it was nice. It was still good.
So I'm going to stop it right here and I'm going to make some comments. So the first one is really good start to the episode. What the Tea Lady has done is that she has used a moment of the episode to start the episode and hook us straight in. Like straight in, I already know, oh wow, wow, they're talking about cheating. What's going on? I want to find out more. This is really good. You want to engage your audience as soon as possible. Someone like me that has never heard about this, I hear that intro. We call it, I don't know if it's the way that it's called in the rest of the industry, but I like to call it the moment of fire. Moment of fire is that moment through the episode that kind of like sums up a bit what we're going to be talking about. And they put it out there, and then the music starts playing. Perfect. Really good. Now, that started great. The problem is now I'm a bit confused because they've been talking for 1 minute and 20 seconds, and I still don't know what the episode is about. I know it's some cheating involved, but I don't know because they haven't told me what they're going to talk about. They haven't introduced the episode yet. They're still chatting, so let's see what happens.
No, technically it was 2 glasses of red wine. That's a lot.
Fine.
That's a lot.
Considering it was red, yeah, it is a lot. It really is a lot.
It is. But it was nice. So I will come and finish the bottle very soon. Don't worry. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's here waiting for you.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about Will Smith and Jada.
Yay.
Okay, 1 minute 46 seconds. Unfortunately, every single person that was hooked at the very beginning, they've already dropped out. Every new listener, because they had no clue what this episode was about. So ideally, you want to move that to be within the first 30 seconds of your episode. You want to go in, you want to put the moment of fire, great. By the way, I didn't actually say it, but you put in a hook and a sinker, which is, we have some announcements. We'll tell them at the end of the episode, so hopefully people will stay in. That is great because you're leading with this question. Oh, what is this about? Okay, so not only I'm intrigued with the cheating, I'm also intrigued with the whole, what's going to happen afterwards. What are they going to say at the end of the episode? So you have two strong things that you just killed because you waited 1.5 minutes to tell us what the episode is about. So just swap them around. Start with moment of fire, as you did, music intro where you introduce yourself and the guest, and then jump in directly to, we want to talk about, Will's and Jada's relationship and, the cheating and blah, blah, blah. And then you go into the chit chat. Then you say, we were here yesterday, I think it was on the second glass that you said, oh, we should be talking about this and that. But that way, I already know what we're talking about. I already know what's going to happen. And now I'm in anticipation of that. I'm going to be like in a Tarantino movie where I know someone's hiding in the closet and I know the main person is in the room and I'm like, what's got to happen? In the other way, in the other scenario, this guy just walks in the room and spends 1.5 minutes talking to himself. There's no tension. I don't know what's happening. I'm like, are they going to get to a point? So switch them around. Put the episode intro first. Tell us what the episode is about. Do those things where you hook us to stay till the end, and then you can go into the chit chat, and then you can go into the meat, and then you can go. That's the way to do it. I do believe chit chat helps podcasters and hosts and guests because it gives that chemistry. You just need to hook people first. Believe it or not, there are numerous people finding you on the internet every day, so you want to make sure that they click and they understand what you're doing before you go into the chit chat. So if you move the chit chat a bit further down the line, you can even move it all the way down to the middle of the podcast. You start talking seriously about the topic, boom, 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 and then halfway through you just relax and you say, we were talking about this yesterday. We were having some wine and what was happening, and and you can just develop it. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna fast forward a bit through this.
You slice it, he's more vulnerable, even if they were both happy.
Okay, so the person that's talking right now, I think is the tea lady, has an issue with her voice recording. Her voice is perfectly fine. I mean, the recording itself sounds a bit weird. I would say that either they're recording on their phone or they're recording over some terrible internet. And this shows, unfortunately, the quality is not great. The other person, on the other hand, I think sounds good. Let's hear her out.
Happy and healthy and happy as Larry. he is like, we've all seen toxic couples. We've all seen, like, it's
You can hear it. It feels like this person is inside like a tub or something. Like they're underwater. There's like there's not good cohesion, good quality. There's normally are called low bitrate issues, and it's normally because you're recording either through Zoom, or which has a very big compression applied to the voice, or you're recording through Anchor and you have a bad internet connection, or there's something going on. So definitely check that out to try to improve it.
Try and salvage things and change the narrative.
This one sounds like it has some of the issues, but not as bad. You can hear it that it's way clearer, it's louder. You know, either that person has a microphone or their internet connection is better, or, you know, multiple things that could happen. But that sounds better.
As best as they can. You can tell that Will is angry.
do you know what?
You liked the relationship Q&A from season 1. We'll be doing that every month, once a month. So feel free to just write in, and we will keep them and save them for the Q&A episodes.
Very good. You're calling people to send you stuff for the Q&A. That's great. Social interaction, making sure that, you know, people are still listening. That's great.
Yay.
Yeah. We will also be revealing who the winner is from the giveaway.
That's great. That's social media 101, making sure people actually are engaging, leaving reviews, subscriptions.
And I can confirm that they are now on Instagram if you're listening. So head over to Instagram, follow us if you're not already following the Tea Lady. Congratulations to the winners.
Cool.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you all for your support, and we will see you in season 2.
Woo! Bye, guys.
Yep, that's it. Nothing else to say. Really good. 49 minutes is a very good. Let me check the rest of the episodes, see where they stand. 49, 26, 36, 34, 37. Yeah, great. And I can see you have great reviews. I would just implement those little changes, try to increase a bit the quality, and just introduce it differently, because then people are going to engage much more at the very beginning. I'm talking about new listeners, people that just find you out of the blue and don't know what you're talking about. They're going to engage greatly. So yeah, really good job. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This one is Core X Pod by Sarvesh Kulkarni. I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering these names. Please forgive me. Really cool cover art. That looks really good. I still don't know what it is about. Let's go through it. A welfare platform that believes in educating the world at self-improvisation, career guidance, and style betterment. Core X Pod is a venture of Outgrowth X, founded on grounds of social welfare, cognizance, and service. Outgrowth X is a budding web platform. We believe in providing and sharing knowledge and wisdom as much as possible, targeting and producing content and services for audiences of all age groups. Outgrowth X wants to spread enlightenment. Visit our website, visit our YouTube. Good. I would get a YouTube channel name that is not a bunch of numbers. That will help greatly with people actually clicking on it. But yeah, it looks good. I would say it reads a bit hard. Welfare platform that believes in educating the world at self-improvisation, career guidance, and lifestyle betterment. I understand this bit. Core X is a venture of, I don't really quite understand this bit that much. Founded on a grounds of social welfare, cognizance, and service. I'm a bit lost here. I think I wouldn't say dumb it down, but maybe put it to my level so I can understand it a bit. Remember, people are finding you out of the blue unless your potential customers and or audience or clients are talking like this, because they might. If you're serving scientists, or you're serving a specific niche that they talk like this, they talk like grounds of social welfare, cognizance, and service, then keep it this way. Don't dumb it down. Talk to them. You are, at the end of the day, know exactly who these people are. You just need to make sure that you understand how they talk. If they're your clients or they're your audience already and you talk to them on a daily basis and they say these words, they say, I really believe in educating the world that self-improvisation, career guidance, and lifestyle betterment, then continue doing that. If this is more geared for kids or people that need to learn, this is way above where you should be talking. Basically, at the end of the day, people are going to read this and either they're going to buy in because they love the way that it's written, or they're just going to tune out. If your customers know about this Outgrowth X, then keep it. But if they don't, and it's not really necessary for the podcast, then cut it. Remember that the description is a way of making sure that people can engage with you. It's a filter. People are going to read this and decide if they want to listen to it or not. I'm intrigued. CoreX Pod sounds like a cool name. The cover art is good. But then I read this and I'm like, what is a welfare platform? What is a social welfare cognizance and service platform? Why is CoreX Pod part of Outgrowth X? What does that mean? So again, you know your ideal client, you know your ideal audience. Just put yourself at their level and think, do they talk like this? Is this the kind of keywords they're going to search for? Is this the way that they're going to find me? If they are, don't change a thing. If they're not, though, you have a problem because there's a dissonance between what you're writing and what they're actually trying to find. So you need to talk about this. And I'm saying this because it says for audiences of all age groups. I don't think that's the case, unfortunately, with this wording. But then again, maybe you're targeting someone very, very specific and they talk like this. Okay, cool. Let's go down. So what is this? Elements of fulfillment, CoreX Pod. Now, you've used a different cover art for the episode. I don't know why that is. Is this because you're doing a specific season or you're doing something specific? Yeah, well, you said season 1, so maybe this says season 1. Then it should say season 1 elements of fulfillment, just to make it very clear that that's the case of why this is different to this. Otherwise, people may see this out of in the blue and say, wait, is this the CoreX Pod podcast? This is not the cover art, So you need to make sure that the brand stays consistent. This looks gorgeous, by the way, I'm not saying now, but you need to make sure that there is some kind of connection. Here you've used 2 types, this one that is more roundy and this one that is very like 3D, pod. That's all gone here. Here you have like an italics. So you want to make sure that the branding stays on brand. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. Again, these episodes look pretty short, 13 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Now, I don't think you should change it just for the sake of changing, but this already tells me that someone that wants to do commute or someone that wants to listen to something, they're not going to invest much time on this. So they may be a bit more reticent if they have time to listen it. Imagine that you're listening to a podcast. Where do people listen to podcasts? They listen on the commute. Maybe now is not the best time because of the whole COVID situation, but let's talk about all the things that they can do. They're in their balcony and they want to listen to something. They're cleaning and they want to do something else. Podcasts are in the rise because everybody now is doing 2 things at once. They want to make sure that their time is being spent by doing more than one thing. So you see a lot of people in the bathtub with a podcast. If I'm cleaning or I'm in the bathtub and I'm listening to a podcast and 7 minutes in it ends, I'm kind of disappointed. Because now either I need to stop cleaning and change and find another podcast, or I'm in the bath and I need to get out of the bath and change the thing, which I'm not going to do. So you need to find that flow. And unfortunately, the very minimum is 15 minutes for a podcast. Now you're going to tell me, but Neil Patel releases a podcast every day that is 8 minutes. And I'm like, great. Are you releasing a podcast every day? And the answer is no, you're not. So unless that's your thing, if you're releasing once a week, you want to keep that level of engagement. Ideally, the studies say that people that consume content have an engagement of around 25 minutes on average. So you want to average that. You want to be around that, or you want to be over that, because it's fine being over that. If you're in the tub and I'm cleaning and I finish before the podcast ends, that's great, because it kept me entertained for 30 minutes or whatever, or 40 minutes. So just don't go overboard. Don't do 2 hours, because then there's going to be a lot of rambling there. You want to keep it, in a number. You want to understand what the people are doing while they're listening to your podcast. If they're driving, it's going to be an hour, 30 minutes, something in between. If they're in the bath, it's going to be 30 minutes or 15 minutes at least. If they're cleaning, half an hour to an hour, so you want to keep those things that they're listening to the thing. Cool, let's go listen.
I equivocate to say this, but stop acting as if life is a rehearsal. Live this day as if it were your last. The past is gone and over. The joy of living is the gratitude of the moment. Many of us have at least once in our lifetime been suggested to learn to live in the moment. Once an elderly man was requested to share his words of wisdom, and instead he made a request. The request was pretty easy to absorb, but challenging when it comes to implementation. He said, "The youth is the powerhouse of the future, and if you don't produce enough energy today, you ought to face the gloom." Podcasting from Mumbai, a place to a number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I am Sarvesh Kulkarni, your host, and you're listening to Core Export, a platform where I address the core subjects of humanity that help you make a few positive tweaks in your lifestyle. Before we begin, I would like to share that the transcript, MP3 format downloadable file, and a graphical visual representation of this podcast is made freely available on my website www.outgrowthx.com.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to address a couple things. You have very good soothing music and your voice goes over that, which is really good. The only issue I have with this podcast, and the reason why I would have just disconnected completely, is that you introduced the podcast way too late, at 1 minute 32. Don't get me wrong, everything else is fine, but you have to engage new listeners. People are finding you by accident or on purpose, and they're deciding based on 4 things that you need to make sure that you're hitting on the head. One is the cover art. That plays a major role in people clicking on you. The second one is the name, same importance as the cover art. Both of them are going to dictate if people are going to click on it or not. Core Export doesn't actually tell me much about what this is about, so that's a problem. Which is fine, because I think the cover art is cool enough for me to actually try to understand what's going on. But maybe a bit of text on the cover art would actually help to understand what the podcast is about. Then sometimes they read the description, sometimes they don't. I don't have percentages, I'm not going to make them up, but you will know. Sometimes you click on a podcast, sometimes you just scroll down and click play, sometimes you don't read the description. So the 4th most important thing is how well you can engage them in the very first beginning, like the first seconds of your podcast, at the very beginning. 1 minute and 32 seconds to tell me what the podcast is about, it's like an eternity in 2020. I've clicked on podcast and in 7 seconds decided if I'm going to keep listening or not. Normally it's 15 seconds, but I'm sure that some of you out there, including the person that created this podcast, have decided to keep listening or keep watching something in less than the time that it took me to actually understand what the podcast is about. There's another thing that is pretty minor, but I'm going to say it anyway, that you want to engage people as soon as you can. You already have a story in here. You're talking about an old man. You're talking about what's happening. Start with that. People will be super intrigued about this. I think if you cut the very beginning before you say one man, one old man, this would increase the value 10 times, because you would engage people. They would be like, oh, what's going on? Second, you introduce what the podcast is about. And third, you go into the meat quicker. I really like the music, by the way. I really like the story. I really like how you introduce your podcast. So continue doing that. It's really good.
Before we begin, I would like to share that the transcript, MP3 format downloadable.
Okay, this is a problem. This is a very big problem and we need to talk about this. So the transcript and the MP3 and your website and all that stuff only works for people that are already listening to you. I'm 1 minute 20s in your podcast and you haven't given me anything of value, but you're already asking me to go to your website. You're already telling me to go somewhere else. You want to keep them in the podcast and you want to say all of this at the end when they've engaged, they've listened to the whole thing, and now they're interested. Now they want to go and download your script. Now they want to go and download the MP3. Now they want to go to your website. At the very beginning, you're talking, if you're saying these things, you're talking directly to people that are already with you, but you're losing the new listeners because they're thinking, oh my God, is this guy going to get to the point or not? And I'm sorry that I'm being so blunt, but I just want to make sure that you're doing the best podcast ever.
Visit my website www.outgrowthx.com and view all the related articles. Join me at my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the blog.
This website doesn't match what you said on the outro, so maybe minor thing, but change it to so people can find you.
Until then, cheerio.
Cheerio. I love it. The only thing I would say is you didn't ask for reviews or subscriptions, which is crucial to grow your podcast. It's all right that you make the outro long. I actually encourage people to make the outro long. That's when people have already engaged. Your listeners have engaged. They want to know more. That's where to put it. You mentioned your website twice. You know what? No issue. I find it fine. Very good podcast. Just make sure you're engaging people at the very beginning, and you can mention all these resources and everything at the very end. But yeah, cool. Good job. Next. So this one is On the Way to Find Life by The Protective Shelter. So let me check that very quickly. The Protective Shelter by Anchal Badaudia. I'm so sorry about these names. Cool. So that is the only episode, 7 minutes 34. I've talked all the way up till now. That is maybe on the short side, so you want to look into maybe increasing the length of that. Learn to find positivity around you with the help of my words. Maybe that's all right, but you want to keep going. You want to make this description a bit longer. You want to make sure that the very beginning of your description should be exactly what you normally do, like learn to find positivity around you with the help of my words. It's descriptive enough. I would try to add more, add keywords, add things. What are the topics you're going to talk about? Are you going to have guests? Are you going to have Q&A? Are you going to have anything? Like, put anything in there. Make sure people read it, connect with you, go the next level. This is the cover art. Feels that there should be a name somewhere that says The Protective Shelter and your name, so people understand that this is the cover art and what the podcast is about. Cool. So On the Way to Find Life, The Protective Shelter, episode description. Okay. If you're feeling depressed or helpless and not able to find positivity, and this is the podcast is going to help you in this for sure. That's a big claim, but that's fine. Do listen to it and follow if your life, oh my God, I don't know how to read. Do listen to it and follow in your life. This will provide you the hope. Stay in touch for upcoming amazing episodes, which will help you to find hope in your life. Good. You should tell me a bit more of what the episode is about. In this episode, we're going to talk about this, and this. I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 things that you can do today to improve your life. These are the things that you need to talk about for X, your life, your commitments, your relationships, how to get out of bed every morning. Tell me a bit more about exactly what I'm going to get of value from your episodes. Remember, this is all about value. You're giving value for free to your listeners. In exchange, they will follow you. If you don't tell them what the value is, they may not even click play. And that's crucial. You need to tell them what the value is going to be. Okay, let's listen to this. Okay.
Hello everyone, My name is Achal, and let me introduce you the meaning of my name. First, so the Achal is a name of Hindi language. So the meaning of my name is that a protective and a shelter kind of personality who loves to help, who loves to spread positivity, who loves to create a better world for everyone, and to just improve ourselves to.
Okay, so two things. It's going very slow. Um, I get that's intentional. The music's very relaxing. That's going good. But we're 40 seconds in. I still don't know what the podcast is about or the episode. So, again, like I said in the previous ones, do you want to tell me straight away, as soon as you can, what the episode is about and then what the podcast is about? You can have them the other way around if you still tell me both in the first 30 seconds. Otherwise, you're losing people. I think you would benefit from having a script. If you had some kind of script and you could just go through each one of the points, it would help you understand like exactly what you're trying to do. I think you're spacing out in some places and trying to reconnect it and then repeating yourself, and that's very normal at the very beginning. So don't hesitate at all.
That's why I'm telling you this, that never be negative. Always try to be positive in your life in every situation. So, everyone, this is your task for today, that you are going to promise yourself right now that I am not going to leave positivity ever, and I am going to deal with everyone and everything positively, so that I will achieve the purpose of my life and the happiness and the proper perfect life for which I am working very hard. Okay, till then, stay tuned for the next episode. I will come soon. Stay positive always, and be some positive and be supportive to me always. And don't ever miss my episode. I'm saying you this, and keep sharing and keep loving if you like this podcast. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
I think you would benefit from a script. I think that would help you deliver the lines. It would also be nice to try to get some action points for some of the things you're saying. You're saying, you should stop being negative and try to be positive. But, we know some people struggle with that. So it would be good if you said something like, these are the main things that I do to stay positive. Every time I get something negative into my mind, I try to do these techniques. I think about something positive. I write down in my diary, thanking for the things that are good in my life. I try to get away from toxic people. Give a bit more than just saying, stop being negative. I didn't listen to the whole podcast. I'm just saying a very, very specific ending there. But apart from that, it looks good. I would just try to make sure that you get to the point at the very beginning earlier. You tell me what the episode is about, what the podcast is about, and then you tell me why you're qualified to talk about these things. It's better in the very first episode to always do it this way. What the podcast is about, why you're the best person to talk about that. Give them something of value straight away that they can take home. You want to tease some episodes on the future, what you're going to talk about. And then at the end, you want to ask them to rate, subscribe, all the jazz. So this one ticks most of the boxes. I would just keep it shorter at the beginning and then try to make the episode a bit longer by going in depth about the techniques of how you would actually achieve those things. But overall, pretty good start. I hope you learned something. I sure did. If you would like me to review your podcast, you can drop me a message here on YouTube or on Instagram at Podcast Rocket, and I'll be sure to check it out. Please like and subscribe this video if it was helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye.